Hi, my name is Brendan Ball. This is Lauren Cragen. She is part of the nurses over at Pharmacy, and this is my friend Amini. She works in the S1 shop. And this is my speech over the Army fraternization policy. All right, so just a quick intro. The Army fraternization policy was created by the leaders before us, that is to instill discipline and make sure that we are doing the right thing and not sleeping with our leadership, not like having inappropriate relationships with our leadership. According to the Army policy, AR PAM 600-20, inappropriate relationships exist between officers and enlisted can cause adverse effects that act against the chain of command and good order and discipline. And as soldiers of the military, we have to maintain the Army fraternization policy and inappropriate relationships policy, because if not, then the chain of command is threatened, and it's threatened from derailment, and just a lot of chaos can happen. Okay. So the Army DA pamphlet 600-35 also states that an inappropriate relationship exists when one or more of the following is met. Compromises or appears to compromise the integrity of supervisory authority or the chain of command, cause an actual or perceived partiality or unfairness involve or appear to involve the improper use of rank or position for personal gain, are or perceived to be exploitative or coercive in nature, create an actual or clearly predictable adverse impact on discipline, authority, morale, or the ability of the chain of command to complete its mission. So when you go and you date one of your leaders, then they are showing you perceived bias on you. They think that now you are more important than the rest of the people, which leaves room for interpretation by others to say, well, they're getting unfair treatment. They are now getting special privileges and things like that because you care about them more rather than the unbiased soldier that you're just like, all right, you go ahead and do these things. If it was like I was dating you, then I would be like, oh yeah, you can just sit here and chill while Amini, you need to go and clean all the vehicles. And another thing is like some of the leadership, they don't think that they need to follow this because I'm not going to be in their command, or I'm not going to be directly above them, so I don't think I'm going to get caught, because if I just don't act like that in public, then they're not going to see it, and they're not going to try to enforce actions. But the thing is if you have any kind of bias against it, then they're going to automatically assume that you're some kind of favoritism towards them, whether it's dating, whether you're friends with them, or whatever it might be. So the next thing is that soldiers that they befriend their leaders, then they are using them to get their advantages. They're trying to get duty stations, like preferred duty stations, or preferred positions in the company or battalion or brigade, and they're trying to achieve something through that leader. They're trying to exploit them for other reasons other than being their friend. They're not trying to be like, oh hey, let's hang out, but also can you give me this position in the command? And that can't be happening. It's really bad, And one of the things that my commander of the 67th Forward Surgical Team had told me was that the Army has a real problem with the way that the lower enlisted soldiers are using their leaders to get ahead. Instead of actually being good at their job, they're just being coercive and saying hey, you should do this for me, and I think you should do this. And now it's being unfair to the people who are doing well, but aren't very social with the officers, because now they are below their peers. They're not below their peers, they're above their peers, but their peers are getting ahead of them because they can talk to people and grease them with things, not necessarily money, but hey, let's hang out, I can make you feel cool, but give me that position in the battalion. Another thing is like when you're enlisted or when you're an officer and you start dating each other, or you're like hanging out with each other, you're not just putting like your career, like not your career, your like the chain of command and good order, discipline in like jeopardy. You're also putting your career in jeopardy, you know. So according to the militaryfindlaw.com, an article titled "Fraternization in the Military" states that the Army may punish, like the maximum punishment for a guilty verdict is a court-martial. For a court-martial for fraternization is forfeiture of pay, confinement of up to 2 years, and dismissal from the Army. So, you know, with this you could be ending your overall career. So, like, you don't want to, like, these are things you, like, a reason why you wouldn't want fraternization, because you could possibly end your career. You could get thrown in jail for 2 years. Like, that sounds crazy to me, you know. It's just like way over the top. Like, is it really worth that person you're dating, you know, like that, you know, lieutenant, that captain, you're like, oh yeah, I'll do anything for you, I love you. Not when you're in confinement for 2 years, like that shit's gonna suck. And then giving up pay, you can just forfeit your pay for, you know, up to like I think 6 months, which is pretty steep, because I couldn't imagine living without pay for 6 months. But I mean, I guess you're thrown in jail for 2 years. Yeah, so in conclusion, we talked about the Army fraternization policy and, you know, why we should abide by it, because it goes against good order and discipline. It goes against if you don't abide by it, then it goes against good order and discipline. It can derail the chain of command, and it can also have you punished maximally with 2 years in confinement, forfeiture of pay, things like that, things we don't want to have to deal with. So it's like, is it really worth it? Yeah. So, any questions? No questions at all?